Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was. And what another beautiful day. So I am so grateful for the weather. And anyway, thank you to all of you for being here. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight. And that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, a big, huge thank you to all of you. Woo-hoo! For all of you, yes, all of you who've been here from the beginning of time and all the way through. Thank you. Woo-hoo! And thank you for the new subscribers that recently joined my YouTube channel. Yes, all of you, thank you. Thank you. Woo-hoo! I might have met some of you. Actually, I met a lot of you on my YouTube channel, so I appreciate all of you. And thank you for giving me thumbs up. Thank you for those of you who watch my videos, and thank you for those of you who subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yes, you guys out there that's brave, the brave ones that actually leave Starlight a comment. Wow, yes. So thank you for those brave souls out there that are brave enough to, put themselves out there and not really care about what other people think by being brave, by leaving me a comment. I appreciate all of you. And those of you, yes, all of you who share my videos, thank you. I appreciate all of you that are sharing my videos. It really helps my YouTube channel out. And also, if anyone would love to ask any questions, like if you got something that's on your mind and you don't know what to do and you're kind of stuck or whatever, let me know what you're dealing with, or you can ask a question, or even reach out to me on my Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook. You can reach out to me there, and that is at Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. But to really get my attention, just let me know down below that, hey, I sent you a message, on, is it Facebook or is it Instagram? So that way I know exactly where to go to, because I can't put Instagram or Facebook on my phone because of storage space issues. So anyway, thank you for all of you who are here. Yay! Thank you so much. You know what? I can't do this alone. We all can't do this alone. Guess what? They try to divide us, but we all need each other, because together we are stronger. So yes, we are stronger together, and we do need each other. So also, if anybody would love to send any love donations, you can through my Cash App, and I will have the information here. Ding! There it is. And now, okay, you made it this far. Woohoo! So I love all of you, and Starlight sends love everywhere I go. And so today's video is about stop running away. That was me. I'm guilty. So how many of you have in your life ran away from either people, run away from situations, run away from your problems, run away from this, run away from that? Stop running away. Stop right there. Stop running away. This video is really going to help you out, because in this video, I'll tell you what, this video should really help you out, because all of us somewhere along the line have kind of, ditched a bullet, by, something out there, with people, instead of really facing those people, instead of, telling them what you think, instead of, it's easy to run, isn't it? It's easy to just run away, hide somewhere, because that was Starlight. I was always running away from situations and people, not really, dealing with the problem. I just kind of ran away from it, hid somewhere, so now it's amazing, because even when you get a dream, it will really tell you really what's going on. And I've had lots of crazy dreams. I love to dream. I remember my dreams every night. And so throughout my life, I've had dreams where I'm running away from something or somebody, or something. And you know what is amazing is when you face your fears and you realize those fears are an illusion that you created. Those are, we create things in our mind and our headspace, and making things look bigger than what they really are. And if we all really, admit to it, it wasn't that bad, was it, when we faced those things and we got through it? And it's like, oh, man, I made it through that, I feel good about this, man, so we all deal with this from being little kids, growing up, teen years. Oh, man, talk about some challenging times there, depending on how you were brought up, the kind of influences that you have in your life. It could even be worse for some of you. You could have had it really bad, because if you're around the wrong kind of people that are always afraid of this and afraid, I meet them all over, So I'm always meeting people that they tell me they're, oh, I'm afraid. Hey, be careful, Starlight. Don't, you gotta be careful. Don't go now. What's Starlight? Don't leave New York, Starlight. Starlight, don't do this. Don't do that, Starlight. Because that's their life, And it's amazing. I've even had people that claim that they're pastors, that they were worried about my safety, God, God has protected me. The universe has got my back. The angels, I do ask for protection. So, but it's something that even people that claim that they know God and that they even have a title called a pastor, it's not only my faith, it's other people's faith. There's sometimes we have faith and things happen to other people because we have faith in them. But there's times that people don't even have faith in themselves, but so you got to stop right there. Stop running. I see you running, you're running away from that situation. There's a lot of people, and you know what? You made your bed, you got to lay in it, but you don't have to lay in that bed and stay in it. A lot of people, they make their bed, they know that they got in that situation because they didn't do something. They were too quick, not being patient. They were doing it, they had the wrong motives. Why did they do that? What were they hoping to get from that situation, like relationships, Was it really because you really cared for them and loved them? Was there any red signs? A lot of times we ignore those signs and we just kind of like override that, and act like, I see that, but I'm just going to keep going because I've been there. So we got to stop running away. And we need to learn to face those fears head on. And then this could be all kinds of different weird things, Maybe there's something, a business matter that you're dealing with, and you don't want to make that phone call. You're afraid, what's going to happen, afraid to go get that job that you really want to get, So there's so many fears out there that we have that we're not even, sometimes, most of the time, we're not even, I don't know if you word it like that, it's subconsciousness, I think it's like if I get this right, the subconscious is that we're not even aware of what's going on in the subconscious, but the universe will bring that up. There's times that we might say we're not afraid of this and that, but really we are. We're not really getting out there and facing our fears, but the universe will bring that up and even put people in your path and your life, or even, stir the pot, and get things going, and you're like, not this again. Why is, like going for that job, is that you've got to be quick and sharp to go out there. You can't mess around. When anything that you desire to have, you got to go get it. You got to be a go-getter. You can't be like sitting around like thinking it's going to fall on your lap. And that is what I used to think a long time ago, not so much with jobs and relationships, but when I went to church, I just was talking to somebody about this the other day. It says, works without faith is in vain. I believe that's the verse. And I was just talking to somebody, but you know what? There's many times that we read things, but we don't really understand. It doesn't really soak in. It doesn't really sink in. So I used to be a big, huge prayer warrior like I am today. when I used to go to church, but I didn't realize, I didn't know, nobody explained this whole works thing, like, what am I, I desire this and I desire that, but I wasn't doing anything to make those things come in my reality, so I was just praying, but nothing was happening. Some things I prayed for and they happened. Like if I lost things, I always found things, So some of my prayers were always answered, like I said, with praying, for I lost something or my kids lost something, somebody else lost something, I could find it. Because I had faith that I could find these things. And yeah, I had to actually get up and look around for those things to find it, have my intuition guide me, like a GPS system. But a lot of times Starlight's got to scoot her little booty up here a little bit more. And, but most of her life, even being kids, like I said earlier, is depending on what kind of background you have, what kind of influences that you had, it all matters, if you were brought up with family that was always like, being afraid that you're going to get hurt all the time. So they went through the whole house and, totally, protected the child from getting hurt. So, then they had to go out and buy all these things, in the house to make sure, oh my, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt. And then if a child fell, the child fell down and the child was okay until the parent flipped out. Then, I've seen it many times, then the child's like looking at their parents and hearing the sound and like, they got scared because of the reaction of their parent, the mom and daddy, or it could be both, it could be one, the other, So it is something how the kids, they might have been all right, they might have fell before without the parents noticing, and maybe they fell, got back up. But there's parents out there that are over super protective, and those are likely the ones, that live in a fear mode, like, oh no, I'm afraid. And just recently, I did see a lady out here. I was so blown away. It was a hot day, and there was a heat wave in this area where you weren't supposed to really be out in nature, outside very much because of the heat. And so I was in and out throughout that day in the shade and sun, and I think 15 minutes was the most that I was in the sun on that particular day. But a lady came in and she had sneakers, really thick black socks that, she had a skirt that went down to her ankles with those black socks, long sleeve light colored shirt. The blouse and the skirt did not absolutely match. She had a hat on her head and a full mask, you just could see, I knew what kind of, I knew it was she was a lady. But there's people out there, still today, for whatever reason, and she saw my skin, and she's like, oh my, your skin, like, so we gotta let love guide us, not fear. But, there's times that we have challenges. The universe will challenge us with our family. I'll start with family because that's how we started out, as family. Our family could do something, mom and dad could do something, and you know what? You've grown, you've changed. Are you going to just let them treat you like that still today? Knowing that you're a different version of yourself, but they don't know that. Maybe 4 years ago you let them run over top of you, but now you're a changed person. Now you're like, no, I'm not going to, no. I used to let them, I always said yes when it was a no with my parents, but no. I had somebody a while back that asked me point blank a question, and I wasn't expecting the question, and it was kind of weird. It just, no, came right out of my mouth, no. And I mean, like, the vibration that, two people who were there witnessed the whole thing, and wow, was it uncomfortable sitting in that, that energy right there at that moment, because it was like, she normally always says yes to everything that we want, but now she's saying no. So we need to stop running away. We need to express ourselves. It's so vitally important, because when you do this, blessings will come in. I'm so serious. You know, it is amazing how things will start happening in your life when you face people. Instead of running away, stop running away from facing these people. Stop, putting it on the back burner like I have done many times. So many times I didn't want to go to my family's house because there was stuff going on, but I didn't know how to deal with it way back then. I had a lot of other shit I was dealing with, I had to protect my, I was going through so much. I couldn't handle at that moment putting more weight on my, because that was a big issue in my life right there, is being around people, because I was, many people were bringing up things and, staying in the past, not being in the present moment. So it was really, every day was unbearable. I had a hard time getting through day to day in those years. So I was always running away, not facing those people, and because I was letting them control my life. But I wasn't strong enough in those years, to face these people on and say, no, I don't want to come out this weekend. I felt like I was obligated. I felt like I had to actually go every weekend because, and this is what you got to watch out for. And I do this, I'm learning this even with my animal friends, is that there's many times that we get in a habit of doing things. Then it makes us feel like we got to, because okay, you went there this weekend, and then next weekend you went there, and then the next weekend you went there, and then it's like, but I don't want to go there this weekend. But look at your, so it's good to mix things up, not to keep on going, doing this for them, doing this for them, doing that for them. Even like with my animal friends, is that I realized that I had to cut back, I was trying to feed my animal friends like every day. Well, that kind of adds up, and I said, you know what, I got to, because that's not what the universe does with Starlight. When I have a need, the universe, I have to work from what I get, but sometimes the universe challenges me, I gotta be faithful and be grateful, and I'm trusting that all my needs are gonna be met. But the universe doesn't always make it easy. There's times that the universe will challenge me sometimes. Then there's other times, I ask for something and I get it that quick. So we got to kind of be like that with other people, is not to always give them what they want, give them what they, skip a little bit, say, even if you want to go to their house, sometimes we got to say, no, I'm not going to go, because when you start having it's like, no, it's a habit of always doing that, then it's like easier just keep on like an autopilot, and then it's, and here you don't even want to go, but now you got yourself on autopilot and you feel like you've got to, and they want you to, but you don't want to, because you want to be somewhere else. Your time is very valuable. Stop running away from relationships that are ending. They already ended. You already know this. They already ended a long time ago, but you're scared because you don't want to, you're scared because all the work that it's going to take to get out of that mess, right? Yeah, easy to get into those messes, but it's like, I always had a fun time following my brothers when I was younger. Climbing up a tree was easy, but getting back down the tree was hard. Easy to get in relationships a lot of times, but I'll tell you what, it's a different story when you need to get your ass out of one, when you know that this is not working. We're not happy, we're miserable, we're pretending, we're wearing a mask all the time. We're lying to ourselves, we're lying to others. Other people will ask you, say, hey, how you guys doing? Oh, we're doing great. And then right after you leave, you're like, the heck, we're doing great? Why am I saying that? Because we're not doing great. We barely talk to each other. We don't even eat together. I seen this the other day, and I tell you what, I'm good. I'd rather be single, because I don't like when I see this. When there's couples that are together, they could be married or in a relationship, and they could head to a restaurant. They're not walking together. They're so far apart from each other. When they get done with the restaurant, they're not walking together, out of the restaurant to get to the vehicle. One's already made it to the truck, and the other one is kind of following behind, So you really, I'd rather be single than to be in that kind of relationship where people don't even walk together. They don't even spend time together. But the bills are being paid, right? Well, maybe that even might be a struggle, because people are something. Is that you never know what people are up to and what they want to get out of you. And there's a lot of times people are like, if you're a pushover and if you have a habit of always just letting people run over top of you, people will. They will. They're like, hey, that's why guys, women, when somebody lives with you, like I went through this a long time ago. I had the choice. I could pay half the rent and everything, or I didn't have to pay anything. I just started a job, was working at night, and then I was going to start my business back up again. That's what the whole thing was. And you know what? My car broke down when I got there. There goes my old car. And I was so grateful he helped me. This person helped me to get a lease car. I had a job. And I was able to pay that payment on that car, and but I wasn't able to get a car on my own. Hang on, Starlight is gonna get some water here. So I was always so grateful, I had a beautiful brand new lease car. I was mind blown that I was actually driving this thing. I'm like, wow, I can't believe this. So I was so grateful on that whole thing, and I made everything right in the end. All the way through the end, I made everything right. I did everything that I was supposed to do, and with that is that I didn't have to pay for rent. But when I got in that relationship, I said, no way, I am paying, something. I'm not going to live there rent free. And so it's really, some people think that's crazy that, now that situation, I had a choice. There's some people, they think it's crazy because, they let people live with them for free and stuff like that. You could do whatever you want to do, and it's okay that people do that. And I'm not saying that, but for me personally, I want to pay because I don't want it held over my head all the time and rubbed in my face that I'm there, I want to pay rent for, when I'm living with somebody. I've been in that situation being a stay-at-home mom without having to, but I was working full-time mom, but they were my kids. So there's times that people, they're very kind and they have a beautiful heart, and they open up themselves up to people. And I met guys left and right on this whole thing. Guys would be interested in me, and the first few things that they tell me is I have a house and a car. I have all, these material stuff. They open up themselves to get hurt. You're opening yourself up to get hurt because you don't know what the woman really, who she is. And a lot of times most people, they only look on the outside surface. They don't look on what's going on. They don't even take time. They really get to know the people to know, who is this person? It could be all kinds of crazy shit, whether you're a guy or a female. So you got to really be careful. I wouldn't really blow out and just let everybody know that you got a house and you got this land and you got this and you got that, because you're setting yourself up for a fall later on. There's people that they have bragging rights. Yeah, hey, look at me, I'm somebody because I got all this stuff. But who are they? Just because they got all this stuff and they got a house and a car and they got land, who are they? So women, guys, you got to watch out. Even though they got all these things, you don't really, did you take time to get to really know them? So stop running away from situations, but I'm also here to help you out. Don't set yourself up for a fall later on by, acting like you got to tell them what you own and what you have, and you're opening yourself up. Oh, really? He's got a house. Oh, she's got a house. Because, guys, women own houses too. It's not just guys. It's a different world these days, It's not just men that have houses, and it's not just women that use men for their money. Guys, right? Women, isn't that true? There's a lot of guys these days, scamming women, trying to do whatever to get their money. So it's not just, these days, that saying about, women, just only thing that women want is the guy's money. I've even heard this with men is like, hey, you got to have money to have a girl. Well, it is important to have money, but not all women are like that. Starlight's not. So stop running away from those people that, from speaking up and saying, this is not working, at work. Stop running away from the boss or the workers at work. Stop running away. Face these people. Don't, you see them down the hall, you got to go the other way. No. Sometimes we got to have witnesses, and especially in a work field, have witnesses. Think, or do something private, in a good setting, and just say whatever you need to say. Because I'll tell you what, at work it can be getting nasty. Even with family, it can get really nasty with some people. Stop running away from facing these people, because we make it look bigger than what it really is. We make the mess look even larger. It could have been just, a little bit of mess like that. But by the time we overthink things and look at it and, analyze it, and then we talk to other, some people will talk to other people about the situation, and now the mess is really big, because now you're getting other people's opinions and judgments, by gossiping and talking about this person. And now they're like, oh yeah, so they're going to create this whole ugly picture to help you, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to face that. I'll tell you what, you'll be amazed when you finally face these people or whatever it is that you're running away from. Stop running away from the things that you've been dealing with forever. And just like a dream, what I've noticed is I used to run away from a lot of scary things or people, and now Starlight's like right after them instead. They're the ones running now. Starlight's like, hey, I'm not afraid of you anymore. I've even had different animals. I'm not afraid. And you got to have that mindset, and you got to face your stuff. Stop running away. I love you so much. This is Starlight. I hope you get a lot of help. Stop running away from, those people, your family, your mom, your dad, your brother, the brother that bullied you your whole life. Stop running away. Let them know what you really, let them know, because we make that fear bigger than what it really is. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.